Hey everybody, how's it going? It's June 2nd, and Sunday night here, just trying to figure out where the markets are going. So I thought I'd do a quick short video here. I haven't done one in a while for 500 different reasons that are not important this time. But long story short here is that we're trying to figure out what's going on here with markets. I've seen conflicting signals. I've seen conflicting buy ups late in the day. Good selling, high volume, all sorts of interesting things here. So we're going to attempt to dissect that here. This is a lot easier to do a video than to just type it all out. But I know there's a lot of people that like, I guess, both. So we're going to try to do both. So for right now, what we're looking at here, I'm thinking we're seeing some sort of ending diagonal. Now we did see a really fast buy up here Friday afternoon. Right into close here, which was kind of a surprise, I guess. But kind of look where it stopped here. We're getting pretty close to, if you're looking at it at the hourly level, overall we're looking at least I think it's going to be some sort of ending diagonal here. But as for SPY or QQQ, any of those other little or tickers here for like Nasdaq, I really think it's going to be like just a quick pop, and it's going to be sold down here. I think this is probably just another Friday drunk monkeys smashing the buy button, and there's just an incredible amount of volume here, and I just don't know if it's going to be anything that's realistic for a longer term period of time. But I've been surprised before, and Friday was definitely a surprise. If we don't see this B wave here, and it might retrace higher. If we're looking at just this quick range here, you might see this B wave. This is point of control. With the volume for the range here, we did see again massive volume here in the last 20 minutes of close on Friday. But if you see this B wave reach up a little bit higher, that's fine. But again, we're on new high watch again, because the bulls just can't seem to get the hint that markets is running out of steam here. But it doesn't really matter, because if you're short, you're still kind of screwed here sitting at the bottom. But realistically, we should see in the longer term frame here, we should see something like this. If that's not correct, then we should see something else. What I think we're seeing here is if it's not an ABC down and we don't see an ending diagonal, then we might see the actual like wave 5 here of the entire series. So if we don't see this, and I'll zoom out a little bit more so it's a little bit more apparent. You see these clusters here for the different waves. We could see this could be the wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and ultimately 5, right around like ES 5400. I don't really know if it'll get all that high, but again, I mean, this will probably be like a 5 wave, like a really small sort of 5 wave, like a last gasp here, if that's actually true. Again, we have 2 scenarios. I just showed you the first one, which is like an ending diagonal. I favor more of the ending diagonal sort of approach here. And yes, even though Friday was a surprise, I still think that we don't really have a lot of momentum behind it here, because it was just a very small, very small pump at the end of the day. It's good old fashioned short squeeze. That's exactly what it is. Don't overthink it. And if you're short, more than likely we should see this sort of ending diagonal pattern here. Now it might take a couple hours when the market opens tomorrow, and more than likely it's gonna reach up a little bit higher. It's just typically what happens. So don't overthink it. Give it some time here. If you're short, treat this like a bifurcation point. This 0.786, this 5332 level. So it's either gonna run to the moon or it's gonna head back down. That's my opinion, of course. So that's kind of how I view ES here. Now let's take a look at like SPX. We did see this sort of plan here, I guess. Yeah, I think what the bulls are doing is they're trying to jam it up a little bit higher. Of course, why not? again, we're looking at this at the 2-hour level. I think this is pretty reasonable. We did see like a ton of volume here, but I think that there's some other things coming up here that, excuse me, a couple of things coming up here that are gonna give us some more volatility. This really does look like either a B wave top, or eventually a B wave top. We'll see it tomorrow, of course, or we could see this higher high, this wave 5. But SPX looks a little bit more clear when we're seeing this sort of like 5-wave structure up here. But again, I think bears might be a little too early, but we did see some pretty good selling, and we did see some energy behind that last week. But I guess of course the bulls had other plans. So let's take a look at SPY. Just need to find it. My very long list of tickers. All right, so SPY has pretty much the exact same look as SPX did. It's just dissected a little bit differently here. So we see a 5-wave structure here for wave 3, and we did see this ABC down here. So if this turns into something like a flat, we could see this ABC pattern here. Like we could see a retracement back maybe tomorrow morning, for some of the shorts to get out of their positions, because again, it was a big surprise, but I really don't think it's going to have a lot of staying power. I think this, if this wave 5 does materialize here, we don't see, very, I guess we don't see like a flat or, a regular or something like that. I do think this wave 5 will be pretty short. All right, so let's take a look at Nasdaq here. Nasdaq, not really sure what's going on with this guy. We bounced off this, this purple line here is the 50 EMA. I feel like that's also the point of control for a lot of buying that happened there. And as you can see, it didn't really have like as much power as as SPX did. And just taking a quick flip back here with SPX, looking at this, this is the sector chart. So what this indicates here is the 20-day moving average for the different sectors, like the stocks that comprise it, of the stocks that are above their 20-day moving average. So you see it declining here. You can see that we'll see some sort of bounce. If we do see some sort of increases. Now we did see some buying, but then the last last little bit of close here really. I'm not buying it. I don't think it has any real staying power. I think it's just a short squeeze. So be patient, and if you're short, definitely get those hedges ready in case it's wrong. But if we flip back to the ES chart here, sorry for jumping around. If we flip back to this ES chart here, and then we go to the 5-minute, just with futures, we see definitely a 5-wave structure here, and this looks like an ending diagonal, so we probably see it reach a little bit higher. Again, at this point of the market, it's super easy. Pattern expansion. It's super easy to just go long, but of course, those that are already short, sorry about your luck, myself included. But this could easily turn into like wave 4 here, where we see this this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure, and we don't really see a new high. But I don't think I really don't think this is going to stop just quite yet, and that's just really on a smaller scale. It's just a massive amount of volume. There's really nothing that these silly bears could really do about it. Man, at some point the bears are just going to be so tired of just getting screwed that they're gonna revolt. But I don't know. I doubt it. Bears just love getting stomped. That's like their favorite thing to do. All right, so enough of that. Enough of the pity party for the bears. Nasdaq, by the way, it looks like a rounding top. I guess you could make the argument for this. But I've been fooled by this before. I've also kind of think like we might see some sort of like a cup and handle pattern where we could see this just reverse and blah blah blah, and just whatever, just grind up a little bit more and erase the volatility there. So if you have a volatility play like VIX, sorry about your luck again. But that's just how it works in a bull market. So long story short here is, like we'll look at, NASDAQ and ES. My, gut reaction here is we see some sort of selling to test a recent low. We'll see what happens. We haven't seen anything with futures yet tonight, and we probably won't see anything until tomorrow morning. Of course, the bulls are going to try to jam it up as high as possible. I actually wouldn't really be concerned if you do like, zero DTE or, any of those crazy long plays. But for the longer term investor, this is just more of like a flash in the pan. So just give it a couple days, let it shake out. If we look at something like the Dow was, the Dow was supposed to bounce here. I mean, we were consolidating for quite some time. Didn't have a ton of volume here, but even if we see some sort of retracement up, and again, this makes like a egg diagonal sort of shape. I think it's reasonable. Sure, why not? We could bounce around this triangle a little bit and head up a little bit higher. But yeah, I mean, the bears were in control for 98% of last week, and the last 2%, everybody got screwed. So either they're going to be mad and try to sell it down tomorrow morning, like a Monday morning, or they're just, bulls are going to keep buying it up, and that tells me that there was some sort of plan in place there. Because again, if you're a large institutional seller and you've been selling all week, and then all of a sudden you're just okay with having a massive buy up like this, I think it just kind of screams like more of an engineered sort of thing. All right, so let's look at the yield. So the yield, I think, is what's driving most of this. The yield itself, it still has a little bit way to go here. I do think that we'll see some sort of like a 50% retrace. So if thank God here we're in TMF instead of TMV, but you probably see something like this, like a little ABC down here, and then the larger scale. It does have like a bearish sort of tilt to it, I guess, if you look at the longer term view. It does have some sort of like ending wedge, but realistically, we're doing some sort of like back testing here of this big channel up, but I don't think this channel is quite done yet. I feel like we're gonna hit just a little bit higher, but not after. We should have some sort of corrective phase here for rates. Again, the economy is kind of doing okay, I guess. You're starting to see a little bit of cracks here, and that's what's important to understand. So if we look at like the 2 hour, we could see you get a little bit more test of our, like finding a bottom, and then you'll probably see some sort of big run up here, because the bond traders here are just again, they're also getting screwed too. But we could see just this ABC sort of pattern, and then we see another launch up, or we just see a continuation down. I guess it's too early to tell. But the dollar also kind of gives us some cues here, just because it trades in tandem. But I haven't really been impressed with the dollar chart lately. The dollar chart has a very, very clear sort of ABC pattern. So you can see this clear as day. And if we're within this triangle here, we'll see more than likely we'll probably see some sort of retrace up, and then probably like a sell down. It'll just be more of like a triangle pattern here that develops. And longer term, I feel like this is what we'll see, and rates should also follow a similar path. And that's probably just people betting that the Fed's going to reduce rates here, because the economy is kind of getting tiny bit shaky. But again, I've been surprised. But you look at the dollar, and then you look at the yield. We've seen these ending patterns more often than not, and I think that this is a pretty clear one. But it's kind of looks like it's turning into more of like a channel here. So channel, or sorry, we got a bunch of crap in here. Channel, or some sort of like head and shoulders pattern, I guess we could see. This is like our wave 2, and then kind of looks like we might hit a wave 3 here. So I mean, there is the possibility we could see something like this, just for, you know, for entertainment purposes. Yeah, we could see some sort of, five wave down situation, but I don't think that that's realistic, because the Fed has not signaled that they're gonna, lower rates here. We had only really like two prints, so we had CPI and PCE and things like that. We that didn't really come into, it wasn't really anything spectacular. GDP revisions down. That just tells me that economy is slowing, so people are betting that Fed is going to cut some rates. But traditionally, if they do that, then equities also fall. But it typically has an inverse related correlation here to the 10-year. But I guess it remains to be seen, but it's still a possibility. So keep in your mind here. So it's possible, we see just another crazy run up, again, blow off top, I guess you could say. It's just kind of what's going on with markets right now. But yeah, so long story short is I don't think anybody really knows what's going on next. So try not to take too much of it with a grain of salt here. Now let's look at gold. Gold actually kind of looks pretty tame. Like it's testing its 50-day moving average here. But again, if we do just see a little bit of pattern expansion here, it could move a little bit lower. But I'm also expecting some sort of another run up here, and that would be commensurate with the 10-year yield. Or if I layer the yield in here, you'll be able to see the covariance, and this is inversely related. So this scale is inverted for the yield. So if the yield heads down a little bit more, then that is pointing the way here for gold, and we should see a pretty decent run up. So I'm long gold here in the gains fund, and we do have some underwater gold shorts, but the reality here is that I think we're headed for one more run up here, and then also looking at the yield, I think it's just going to take a dump. So with sorry, it's going to dump, not take a dump. Oh man, that's a bad joke. Unintentional bad joke. All right, so let's kind of wrap this up here. I think the yield's gonna head down, which is gonna boost up equities here, and I think that we'll see if we don't see this ABC down. I know it seems counterintuitive here, but if we don't see this ABC down, then we likely see this this fifth wave up here. Now I don't know how far it's gonna go. I mean, we could see an extended wave 5. We could go all the way up here to 5,500. Why not? It just remains to be seen. Nobody really knows, and it just doesn't really seem like there's a lot of appetite for any selling, really. And it's kind of confusing, to be honest. You can kind of see what's going on here with like the yield and the dollar, in gold and things like that. But equities they're just looking a little tired. Like watching the price action, seeing some of the volume here, like somebody's obviously trying to keep the market supported. We had a ton of sell volume here. Really, really high volume. If we're looking at the daily level, and that to me, it says that there's some support there, but it seems like it's only temporary support. So it's like, the bears are selling to a point, and then selling dries up, and then the bulls, jam it up because everybody's trained to just buy the dip, and then they keep selling it down. So hey, buy low, sell high. So, all right. So let's shift gears here and take a look at oil. Oil's a little bit different. Oil's still doing this triangle thing like everything else. It's kind of boring, but I do think that we might see maybe like a smaller bull run here, but I do think that we're headed down, longer term with oil. So pardon the clutter on the chart here, but I do think we'll see probably something like this, just like everything else, right? Everything else is kind of doing these symmetrical consolidations, consolidation triangles, and it's summer, so surprise, everybody goes on vacation and the markets suck in summer. So if you're trying to play some volatility, it's likely the wrong time to do that. So overall, if we're looking at oil here, I do think that we'll see some sort of spike. I guess OPEC is trying to drive up prices here before the election. I mean, not like specifically for the election, but they're trying to drive up prices. America is producing a lot more oil these days, and the dollar is a little bit stronger, relative to what OPEC's trying to do. So I think that long story short here is that I know I've said that 1,000 times, but I do think that we'll see a quick run up here in oil, and then we'll see probably a drop. This little cloudy box here, this is the like the volume range that we're taking a look at. It's really just a quick indicator, but just something I threw on quick here. But I do think that we saw this like ABC up here, and then we see another ABC down, and it's just gonna bob around here. So if you've hedged long or hedged short, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We'll see these levels again. I mean, we're right at the point of control. I mean, we've had 4 good tests of this level here, so I think that we're gonna see something here. All right, let's do some quick sector charts, and then let's wrap it up because I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk. XLF, as of right now, we could see some sort of instead of any diagonal or another triangle or whatever, which is I mean literally what it's doing. So I do think that there is some validity here to this, but sorry, validity to like the triangle sort of approach. But you could get lucky and we could see some sort of 5-wave down, and nobody expects it. But I don't really know. I don't really know today. I need to see what's going to happen with price action here. The utilities chart actually performed pretty well here. We should see some sort of back test. I mean, eventually, but we should see maybe like a little bit higher of a like wave 3 here. As you zoom in, you can kind of see you got like a wave 2 here. You have a like a wave 4 here, but this is like a slightly bigger wave 4. So you should see maybe like a maybe like a wave 3 up here, and then a back test for like a wave 4. And that's where you'd want to enter your utilities longs. All right, let's take a look at energy. Energy is great because we correctly called this flag here, and it looks like XLE is just going straight to the moon, which is great because we're positioned well for it with like OILU and some of those other leveraged funds that because I mean, to be honest, it just looks like a huge flag, and I mean anybody who couldn't see this, hopefully you didn't short it. But the reality is here, we should see something like this where it busts out of the flag and then heads back up, and maybe test this trend line again for maybe like an irregular sort of corrective pattern, or it just becomes this this wave 5 that we're looking at right here. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that. But again, we're long energy, so that's great. Hopefully it breaks out, then everybody gets happy. Let's take a look at biotech. Biotech is a little bit frustrating just because it looks like a head and shoulders here, but it's taking forever to move along the lines here. Traditionally, C legs are a lot more powerful, but I'm not really seeing a lot of power behind it, and that's probably because the biotech's a little bit defensive. Same thing with utilities. All right, let's take a look at materials. Materials. This one, so we cashed out some puts on this guy, and same thing with industrials. Cash out some puts at the exact right time. Thank you, thank you, mother market. But again, this kind of just looks like a sub, ABC here. I think that again, like you see some of these sectors and you see some of these big spikes at the end. I just don't buy it. It's not anything that tells me that this is a healthy market. We're seeing these consolidation patterns all over the place. I mean, like literally all the charts have triangles in them, and don't second guess it or don't try to overthink it. I mean, you're going to see. Just follow the triangles. Try to just count the waves. There's 5 waves within the triangles, and they're I'd say 90% of all these triangles have these 5 waves within them. So you just count them. I know I said it 1,000 times. Don't overthink it. There you go. There's your count. So real easy. It says this has an ABC here. Probably not going to happen. That looks like a better chart. You probably see a little breakout to the high here, which means that we've seen like a regular flat, and then we'll probably see like a 5 wave. So you might see like something like this. But we're not really in any positions right now, so that's fine. All right, long story short here, guys, for the 455th time I've said it. Let's take a look at ES again. I guess in conclusion, we could see this wave 5. I think we're already halfway in it. I mean, I want to say we see this ABC sort of pattern here and fill out these ending diagonals, just because everything else is consolidating right now, and it's June. Let's not make any promises here. First week of June, summer's just boring. Summer, there's just consolidations, and people go on vacations. It's not like the whole sell in May, go away thing is garbage. Like, we didn't see it this year. We didn't see it last year. So like, seasonality is important, but it's not everything. So we just need to consider that when we're making these sort of trades. I'll probably reshort as we get a little bit higher, and then since short profits are fleeting, we'll close out at something like these levels here, like right around this 5100. And if we're looking at SPX, because not everybody follows the ES tickers, I guess we'll see if we do make a new high here, which we probably will. I don't know. I guess I guess we'll see what happens. If we do see some sort of relief here, it still doesn't really invalidate the this doesn't invalidate this 5 wave, or this wave 4 sort of thought here. But again, like, these patterns do have they're pretty consistent with triangles and ending diagonals. So I guess the last sort of move up, we'll see something like this, and that's probably like the ultimate end move. So we did see some head and shoulders here. It was we saw a lot of selling last week, but it was just the last 20 minutes that we saw the short squeeze on it. So whether it has any staying power or not remains to be seen. I guess we will see tomorrow. But that is it for this video. Hopefully it was informative and not taxing on your brain. And yeah, that's it. All right, thanks guys. Bye.